In episode 128, and welcome into the Bench is Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the newly home of Matt Chapman, San Francisco Giants.
And you may know me as Dave Contreras, from the good side, from the light side, from the blue side, the Dodger side, representing the Dodgers.
From the left side, that's right. The blue side. I would love to talk about some Matt Chapman, but we always like to share love around the league around here and what's going on in baseball, first of all. So let's talk about the big news going on in baseball, something really important and a reason for you to be upset. Grab your fucking pitchforks because we're going to burn the fucking town down because there's women in MLB The Show. How mad are you that they would do this to us, Dave? I want to feel your anger, please.
I am livid. I am. I don't even have words, man. It's just they're coming into our game now.
Ridiculous.
Is what I would say if I was really angry.
They're taking our jobs, is what's going on.
They're taking our jobs.
I feel like, to be 100% honest, I feel like I saw a lot more people talking about how people were upset than actually people that were upset, but there were still some people that were upset. And it's the very obvious thing to talk about how the things they're upset about is it's unrealistic because that's what video games are known for, being realistic. I'm not a big video game guy, but I remember when I was really young playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and when you beat it, you're able to unlock a fat cap. I forgot what his name was. Officer, it's going to bug me. I'm going to really piss off, but whatever. And you can beat the game with him too. So obviously video games are realistic. I don't know. The other argument I think I saw was like, can't we just have anything to ourselves? Why does it even if the feature were to bug you, just don't fucking use it. Like, I don't understand why would anyone be upset about it.
And when they say, like, kind of keep it to ourselves, video games are not meant just for men. They're for anybody, first of all.
The world's meant for men.
Secondly, I've created my player. I've created a team I made up a team, and we're on our way to win our 10th championship in a row in my franchise mode. And so that's, women coming into the game, that's what's unrealistic, apparently.
Yeah. Because I could still play. I'm pretty sure, like, if I really wanted to, I could probably hit, maybe 250, hit like 25 bombs, probably.
I just want to know if I can create a manager that's a woman, because she would win every argument against the umpire.
That's true.
I just want to know if that's going to be available in the game mode this year.
That would be nice.
That would be good.
And then you can actually use the game to practice winning arguments against women, and then you might actually win an argument against your significant other one day.
I don't think that's how it works, man. I don't think that's
real life.
Go ahead. You go ahead and try that strategy and tell me how it works. I doubt.
I'll tell you. Listen, I'm 98% sure my wife doesn't listen. I mean, if she does, then honey, I love you so much. But I could talk as much shit as I want to on here. I'm not going to, but I could. So just remember that I totally could. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe just don't be a crybaby. Shut your mouth every once in a while, and just let other people enjoy things. That would be my advice to anyone who's upset about women joining MLB The Show.
To be honest, though, to be fair, I feel like I was more upset with the people being upset about the people being upset.
Really?
Because there were so many. They're like, well, if you don't like this, you're not. And I'm like, all right, I get it. We all stand on the same side. There's like 3 bad apples that are saying this is bad.
That's kind of true. Right.
We're all on the same side. We don't have to keep saying the same thing over and over.
We don't have to yell at Dave 145575 who has 3 followers. Yeah, I get it. Exactly. I get that makes sense. The 50-year-old dude who just activated Twitter last week. Yeah, so that does make sense. I will agree with you. But let's talk about good stuff. Dave, Matt Chapman is a Giant, and I think I need to clear the air just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit, because I think last week we talked about how, yeah, Matt Chapman would be cool, but how much of a step up is it? Or, we really need a starting pitcher. And what all I was trying to say is we need a starting pitcher more than we need Matt Chapman. But Matt Chapman is way better than the third base options we had before. JD Davis, I mean, I like the guy and I want to root for the dude, but Matt Chapman's defensive defensive I guess over JD. He's a lot better at defense than JD Davis. Let's just say he is. I mean, he's just a war machine. I mean, you look at all of his full seasons. He had his last year was a down year. All of his good years in Oakland, which are big ballparks, 4 Gold Gloves, 2 Platinum Gloves, and if you've watched Giants baseball these past 2 years, you would understand how important infield defense is and how many games infield defense can lose. So to have someone like Matt Chapman at third is a huge fucking upgrade. And all the only negative I think really of Matt Chapman is he strikes out a lot. He swings and misses a lot of pitches in the zone, but that's also JD Davis's, knock. As well as not being as good as Matt Chapman, but so it's a complete upgrade. It's not my fucking money, so I'm really excited. I'm going to be bummed when he opts out next year. Maybe he can help Casey Schmidt be that guy because he's supposed to be, Gold Glove type dude. But yeah.
Listen, man. Listen, you're probably not going to hear this a lot going forward from me, but you were 100% right last week, man. He wasn't a huge upgrade, right?
I didn't say he was. He is a huge step up. Like, listen, Matt Chapman is not a star in this game. Let's not get crazy. This is not someone who's going to carry you, but catching a crazy amount of ground balls at third and making crazy plays is a huge thing for the San Francisco Giants, who sucked at defense the past couple of years, and he's a better offensive choice than JD Davis and Pablo Sandoval and Casey Schmidt. And I mean, those are obvious, but you get what I'm trying to say.
As someone who has seen or gets to see Max Muncy being our third baseman, and I know that he, has a couple of errors over there, I can tell you that everybody knows the meme. It's been around, the one that Chris Paul hits a 3, and they're like, huge 3 from Paul, and they're down by 50. I can envision the exact same thing with Matt Chapman. Oh, what a great play, stab at third. And the Giants come up, they're down by 9.
Okay, let's calm it down a little bit, okay? Because the Giants are always good at not giving up that many runs. They're always towards the top, but it's the scoring runs that's the problem, and it's been a huge problem with the defense and there's so many times. I mean, I would get on here all the fucking time and be like, "Oh man, this error was the loss. It was an error, and then a 2-run home run. They lose 2-0." So it's I think it's gonna create a lot more wins than if it was JD Davis there. I don't know how many more. Sure, I don't know if that moves us to like an 85 win type, maybe 87 win type team.
You just went from a 79 win team to an 82.
I never said 79. Sure. Who said 79?
I'm saying it. You just went from 79 to 82. Okay. So that's, you're right. You did go on.
Okay. You're thinking that we were, I guess we were under 500 last year. I'm thinking 2 years ago we were exactly 500. We're better than last year. Okay. Jorge Soler's way better than Jock. We're an 85 at least win team. All right. I'll put that on anything.
I would have been more worried if they had gotten Blake Snell.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they might trade.
That's happening.
Nah,
I mean, your own GM came out and said we're done.
Well,
you can take that with a grain of salt, of course, because he
said that before. He also said that before he signed Matt Chapman too. I think but I don't think they're going to get Blake Snell regardless. They're not going to, unless they're able to trade Michael Conforto and get rid of his salary.
I don't think his price is going to lower that much.
Well, the thing is, if they take away Conforto's salary, it's $18 million, plus they still have, I think, another like $10 million off of away from the salary cap, I think it is. So that should be enough to, even if they go over a little bit. But I don't think they're going to go Blake Snell. I think what they might do if they add a starting pitcher is they're going to hopefully just trade. I don't want to take credit from this. It's my boy Brooks, if he's listening. We were talking on a Twitter space, and he mentioned maybe salary swap in for a Taiwan Walker. But at the same time, I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to get rid of starting pitching right now, and I don't know how desperate the Phillies are to dump salary. So I don't know. I see them maybe adding a someone that just got DFA'd, a 40 man that's a swing guy that can start because their depth is going down. I mean, Tristan Beck is now on the 60-day IL. Keaton Wynn is supposed to be ready for opening day, but we don't 100% know. So it's you're already getting into your depth, and the season hasn't even started yet. Don't know when Cobb's coming back. Don't know when Robbie Ray's coming back. So starting pitching was obviously the bigger problem, but there's that. But it's still Matt Chapman, and he's going to swallow everything up going to the left side. Your left side is probably pretty trash defensively. So hit everything to the left side. We beat the Dodgers. No big deal. 108 wins, baby.
Hey, man, it don't matter. I mean, we don't have to hit it to the left side as long as we hit it over the fence. So Matt Chapman, irrelevant if we can get it over his head.
That's true. Or he just can jump really high. We want to get into these rosters, man. We're getting excited for opening day. We're almost there. The wait is almost over. We're 2 weeks away from the Dodgers playing and 3 weeks away from everybody else playing with a weird Korea trip. Great trip. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not excited. That's cool, but to play real games and to play some spring training games, it's weird. But let's talk about these rosters, Dave.
Let's do it. Who are you excited about?
We're gonna go do this over the next 3 episodes. We're gonna take a couple of areas and go over the rosters, and what I think yours are gonna be a little more clear cut and probably a lot less to talk about who might take those spots. But let's go over the outfield. What's the Dodgers outfield looking like?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? And somebody tweeted it out today. I think it was Morosi. He's like, Andy Pages is having a great spring. Like, he's killing it right now, within
Hold on. Who?
Andy Pages.
Pages. I only read his last name.
Yeah, I made the same mistake a long time ago, and then I heard it, and never again.
I thought the whole time his last name was Pages, but okay, my bad.
But yeah, he's having a great spring, and any other team, he probably makes the roster. But this team, I guess not, because you have Hayward, you got Outman, and you got Teoscar and left, pretty much securing the jobs for now. With they're going to be some platooning and on the corners with probably Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor, but I think the outfield's pretty set for now. I'm expecting pretty big things out of Outman year 2. He strikes out a lot, but I do think it's for a lot of power and being settled in, knowing that he's going to be the everyday for the second year. I expect a lot of good things from him. Also, Teoscar being in left. What is he batting, like 7th?
Right.
Should do okay. Should do all right. Just okay, especially on a contract year, because he's going to go back into the market next year. So you always have that.
And he's well protected, so he's going to see a lot of pretty good pitches.
And Hayward, I'm not too high on. I think his value is obviously the leadership, but I think if he does struggle, I think you have Pages in your back pocket. So if he does struggle out of the gate or something happens, injury, he's like, hey man, we'll just bring up Pages and we're set to go. So yeah, I think we're pretty set. I'm pretty excited about him. Chris Taylor finally seems healthy, and he's been hitting the ball pretty well in spring training. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything until you start playing real games, but I think they're pretty set right now. I don't think there's any question marks.
All right, who you most excited for in this outfield?
Probably Outman. I'm pretty high on all the rookies. Like, I'm pretty excited for all of them that are coming back for year 2. Like, the pitchers, but definitely Outman. I think being settled in, knowing, got that postseason experience, failing in the postseason, it builds character. So I think I'm pretty excited for him. I think he's going to do well this year.
And your biggest concern in the outfield?
Hayward. Probably, because I don't know if he can replicate exactly what he did last year. It was a really good year for him. But at the same time, there's so many options in case he does struggle that, cool, we'll just plug in Taylor. We'll just plug in Kike. Or we'll just, like I said, we'll probably call it Pages. So, but that's the only concern I think so far for the outfield.
So overall, what grade are you giving this outfield?
A B?
B.
A B.
Okay.
I think their potential is really high. Teoscar killing it over there on left, and Outman, if he keeps progressing, he had a really good rookie year. I think they're pretty solid.
I would just expect. I don't know. I feel like this Dodger team. Everyone's just gonna be A. Everyone's A in every facet of the game. But I feel like this might be these two parts of the roster are going to be maybe your guys' weak suit if you can even go there. Um, but it actually, well, one of them will be our strong suit. But I feel like this, to pivot over to the Giants outfield, I feel like this outfield is not as bad as people would maybe seem. We obviously got Jung
Who
Hoo
do you
Lee's
have
going to
out
be in
there?
center. We got Conforto in left, and there's going to be a platoon of Yastrzemski and Austin Slater, who is just destroys left-handed pitching. Obviously, great off the bench. He can obviously, if you can even put Austin Slater in for Michael Conforto if you want better defense, if you get a lead early. So I defensively, I think they're going to be a lot better. I think Jung Hoo Lee makes them a lot better defensively. It just really depends on it all runs on Jung Hoo Lee. Honestly, I feel like if he is that guy to lead off and to get on base, and it's spring training, and that's you're gonna not read into the bad stuff and read into all the good shit. He looks very good. He doesn't look like he's overwhelmed by the pitches over 95, and I don't know. I think this outfield is not as bad as everyone seems it would be. And the depth is pretty good. I mean, Luis Matos, who put on 15 pounds of pure muscle, dude's gonna probably could hit 30. All right, if he started opening day, that's I'm gonna say because it's not gonna happen. So why not shoot for the stars? But Luis Matos is always gonna be there, obviously for someone step in when someone gets hurt. You can always put Jorge Soler out there if you
Ooh,
need to. If
that's
you
an
need to,
emergency, I would think,
that's an
right?
emergency.
Yeah.
But that's the depth is Matos, Soler, and Fitzgerald. Looks like he can handle himself in center, but I don't think he's going to break camp with the team at the moment. Especially with you don't know what's going on with JD Davis and the spots there, and they're going to have to figure out some a 40-man spot probably for these relievers, which we'll get into in a moment. But don't want to get into the infield. But that's the depth that we got going on. But I think the guys we have right here are not so bad.
Yeah. I mean, what about your biggest concerns for it, though? Because, I mean, the potential to be really good for some of these rookies is there, but it's also at the same time for either team, the
Yeah.
potential to be really bad is
Yeah,
also there.
exactly. So honestly, I'm my biggest concern isn't even someone who's a rookie. It's my biggest concern is Michael Conforto. Who is Michael Conforto? Will the real Michael Conforto stand up? Okay, is he the dude that's going to hit 30 bombs? Did it take him a year just to get back into the swing of things? Because he's not a defensive wizard out there. You can explain away, Jung Hoo Lee if he's playing a good center field. If he's struggling a bit, he's still getting used to the league. It is what it is. You got to kind of expect it. But Michael Conforto, you're the bat. You need to be able to put some balls in the cove. So that's my biggest concern. He's probably the highest paid Giant. Am I forgetting something? I think that's about right. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's tied with like Jung Hoo Lee, and I'd have to bring it up, but 18 mil. I don't think they're paying anyone over 18 mil. So, yeah, Michael Conforto. He needs to hit some runs. He needs to get 25 to 30 bombs and just hold his own in left field. I mean, I know the Oracle has a history of just being a big outfield, but that's mostly in right and center. You should be able to hold down left field. Just fucking hold it down, dude. All right, and hit some home runs.
All right. So give me how do you feel about my outfield? And I'll tell you how I feel about yours.
How I feel about your outfield. Let's see. Outman, Teos. So if Outman's a guy who strikes out a lot, I would just be worried about the strikeouts. But then if you're just talking about the outfield, obviously you look at the big picture and the Dodgers,
there's a lot to like about that lineup. But if we're just talking about the outfield, the only thing I can break apart is maybe, just they strike out a lot. But then again, they also hit a lot of home runs. So, I mean, in right field, it's not exactly screams, that's usually a position of strength. But at the same time, when you have an infield the way they do, they can afford to just get some guys who actually play a better defense. So if I were to grade your outfield, I would say B plus when you're raking it against like the league.
I guess for yours, I mean, the potential is there because I think Lee is going to be good. I don't think he's going to be. He might struggle, but defensively, I think he'll be okay. He'll be good. Conforto, I don't know if you're going to plug him out in left field. That's tough.
Well, that was our guy last. That was the guy last year that was supposed to be the catalyst. That he was supposed to be like, hey, he's your best hitter. This is your 1 year prove it contract. You're going to get a big, the free agent market of this year wasn't that great for hitters, so you can get paid. So, what guy are you? Who is Michael Conforto?
And also get Jim Strensky. When he first came up, I'm like, oh, this is one of those guys that he's always going to kill us. Every time we see this guy, he's just going to kill us. He's going to be that one professional hitter that takes over, like, what Posey used to do to us. But he kind of fell off last year. He had an off year. So I feel like it depends on what he does as well.
Right. I think for him, I'm not really. I feel like what you get with Yastrzemski and Slater with that platoon there. I feel like you're going to get, 20 home runs, but they're both going to, I think between the two of them, they're going to be 30 home runs. One's going to hit 20, one's going to hit 10, 15, 15. I think they're going to hit closer to 230. They're going to play a good right field. I don't think they're going to be anything special, but I think they're going to be close to, 100 OPS plus. I think they're going to do their job. There's nothing flashy about them at this point, but I think they're going to be solid.
I think I give them a C minus maybe.
Okay. Well, I'm most excited to see Jung Hoo Lee. Like that's what's going to determine if this outfield is a B or not. I can't put too much stock and say, hey, this is really good. He's great until you see it happen. And I don't want to, put that on him. I think it's very possible he's going to take a little bit to adjust, but I graded it a C plus. I was right there about maybe doing B minus, but you don't know who Michael Conforto is, the ceiling is probably a B plus, but the floor is also probably a D if Conforto is who he was last year. And, Jung Hoo Lee needs that year to adjust.
Yeah.
Outfield looks pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodger fan in me wants to give them an F, obviously, right. But I think a C minus with the potential to, you're right, to go up to a C plus, maybe B. I don't know what the strength is of the Giants. Is it the bullpen? Because I look at the infield also, and I'm like, I don't know if this is their strength either.
The strength is 100% going to be their bullpen. 100%, which we'll get into, right now. Well, let's talk about bullpens. We are on your side right now. That's the next thing we're going to get into, breaking down these rosters. Dodgers bullpen. Who's there right now? Because I feel like everyone knows who's in the Dodgers lineup. Everyone knows who's in their rotation. Who is in that bullpen? And will they be arrested for the January 6th insurrection?
They're still fighting those allegations, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
So he's back. He's back. We got Phillips, who's technically our closer. They just won't name him our closer for some reason, but he's our closer. We got Trinan back. We've got Joe Kelly. We've got Vesia, who's, our lefty in the bullpen. Joe Kelly, Marachi Joe is back. Who am I missing? Yarbrough as the long man? Gratterall also. I don't think it's as bad or as weak as people think it is. Gratterall had a really good year last year, and it was really under the radar.
That fucking guy is just, I feel like he needs to be studied. If you just did his silhouette and you turned off, when they show what the miles per hour is, he looks like a position player pitching. Like he literally just lobs it, but it's 100 miles an hour. It looks like it's no effort. It's just 100.
when he first came over, I was like, imagine if he tried, like if he really put, like how fast can this guy throw?
Right,
And then
right.
the other side of me was like, man, this guy's gonna get injured with the way he throws. But nah, he's been pretty solid for us. At least last year was really good towards the what was it? After the first part of the season, because he had some clunkers there, but yeah, he straightened out and was really, really good for us. Joe Kelly, he's just effectively wild. That's the best
Hmm.
way I can put it for Joe Kelly. And he does miss a lot of time. That's with injuries, so I am a little wary of that. But I think, yeah, I would think this is probably the weakest link of the team because there's question marks there. You have Hudson coming back from injury, who's making the team. I think Robert said it either today or yesterday. Um, and I wouldn't be mad if they somehow got a lefty from somewhere. We got a soft tossing Yarborough, and they got Vesia, who, I mean, he did well the second half. He did really, really well, but I'm just not fully convinced yet.
Hmm.
So, and then we did lose Ferguson, which was another lefty we had.
Right.
But I think yeah, I think it's definitely the weakest link of the team.
Okay. Well, so who's your guy in that bullpen? Who are you most excited for?
Bratterall, man. Who isn't excited for Bratterall? I mean, just to see him, I want to see him because everybody's going to give us their best shot. Everybody. We're everybody's World Series. And when this guy comes in, he loves it. He cherishes it. And then when he gets the out and points to the sky towards his brother and everything is just theatrical and it's so amazing. So definitely, I want to see him get out the big outs this year and all that all over again.
Don't pull out the World Series comment and let me like roll my eyes and oh my gosh. And then you want to bring up him pointing to his brother, which I'm guessing passed away or something. So it looks like just
Yeah.
rolling my eyes at someone who's passed. That's fucked up. That's on you. So what's your biggest worry about this Dodger bullpen?
Injuries, definitely injuries, because as we saw last year, like depth was huge, and we didn't have it for starting pitching. So if
Mhm.
Trinan goes down, if Hudson goes down again, who do we go to? Like
Mm.
we're gonna be pretty. I mean, we got a lot of young guys, but they're unproven. We got Kyle Hurt that might make the team at some point, and we got some pieces, but it's unproven. So that would be my biggest concern because if some of these guys go down, who do we turn to? And everybody knows that in season, the prices are astronomical. So you're not going to be able to just get anybody unless it's somebody that wants a big contract or somebody they want to just get rid of, a
Mhm.
DFA. But other than that, I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. But it seems like the Dodgers, even the Giants too, when it comes to like getting relievers that might even be struggling and released from, you know, the Pirates or the National or just a random team, they always turn him into someone that could, you know,
Oh yeah, I
strike a
mean,
bunch of dudes out.
I forgot about Ryan Brazier last year. He was
Yeah,
amazing this year
exactly.
out of nowhere. So I mean, again, I don't know if he can replicate what he did last year because he was really, really good. But
Mm.
if he's anywhere close to that, we'll be pretty good too. So again, the potential is there because these arms are solid, but with injuries, it can all go downhill really quick.
So I guess a real question about this bullpen and how you feel about it. What are you grading it?
Uh C plus,
C
C plus,
plus.
yeah, with the
So I think
potential to go even higher because we don't know if Trinan is going to last. We don't know if his health is going to be there. But if he's back to being him, that makes our weapons even, it makes us even better in the game's shorten up, you
right,
know. So, but it's health is the biggest concern.
right. Well, that seems like it's the Dodgers' Achilles heel, and I feel like that's been the case uh, in their biggest power teams. That they always had like an okay bullpen, or that was just there,
But
and sometimes it was good, but it just was the worst part of their game for
you know
which
what?
is
I think it was last year or the year, a couple years. We've started off with like the question marks being the bullpen and not being certain, and then by the end of the season, they're like, it's been one of our strongest part of the team. So
mm,
we always usually start off this way, and then Friedman finds a way to find these diamonds in the rough and gems, and something that Friedman, Saidi can't do,
mm.
but whatever.
Oh yeah. He doesn't get random guys and make them stars. I mean, why don't you just ask Kevin Gosman, who got 100+ fucking million after being DFA'd, and Drew Pomeranz, who got DFA'd, who got a bunch of money. Farhan does it. All right. He just can't sign a star, which is another tale for another time. Let's not talk about it. We're over that part. Giants relievers. Boom. This is our
Your bread and butter, baby.
It's my time now. It's my turn. And I mean, they're always even the years that they're bad, their bullpen's always not always, but at least the past couple of years has been very good. It's just hard to maintain a lead if you don't have a lead, has been their problem. But the bullpen's great. They got one of the three-headed monsters. They got Camilo Duvall, Taylor, and Tyler Rogers. I mean, to go from, a left-handed upper 90s to a submarine righty, and then a guy who throws 102 miles an hour at the end, it just speaks for itself. Developing Ryan Walker, Luke Jackson, who's coming back from a second year from Tommy John, which he had a pretty good year last year, but it's the second year from Tommy John, so this is where he's supposed to be, better. And we're gonna have to test this Farhan pickup system to round out this bullpen, because that is it at the moment. Right now, Jelly and Austin Warren, who they picked up from the Angels in the offseason, they're on the IL. It should be a while for both of them. Well, Jelly, it doesn't seem promising. We don't know if it's like a 60-day IL situation, but it's like he's not throwing right now, and we'll see what happens. So you know how that goes. He could be back in a couple weeks, or he can be back at the end of the year. So there's a couple guys they picked up on waivers who looked really good. They have a 40-man spot, and it seems like that's kind of their job to lose. And that's Eric Miller, who has pretty even splits. He's a lefty. Ethan Small, who was a high prospect, actually had reverse splits in the minors. So it's just a matter of who is that last spot, because Jelly is down. And the depth that they had in AAA that they could have swung to the back for the top guys, that's going to be using the rotation, which, we'll get into. Hopefully by the time we get into the starting pitching in a couple weeks, we'll have another starting pitcher and we can maybe change this. But right now they have a couple of, they have one spot up for grabs in this bullpen. They have one guy on the 40-man who's Randy Rodriguez, but prospect, unproven. What do you do? They have some non-roster invite guys that are prospects, but they have to create a 40-man for them. Some non-roster invitees that also we have to create a 40-man for them. Amir Garrett is the biggest name. I would love it if Amir Garrett was on my team. I'm probably going to fuck up this name, but there's another guy who's had some major league success, and that's Cody Stashik. Is that right? Probably not. Who cares? You know what I mean? But it seems like pitching is something that they can kind of work their way around. They always find a way in San Francisco to pitch. But when you have this many young starters who haven't even thrown 100 innings in a season, you need a really solid bullpen, and these guys are probably going to have to cover some innings. And that's what's to get into my biggest worry. It has to be the fact that there's not a lot of depth when it comes to the rotation, which can affect the relievers, which means they're going to have to cover a lot of innings. And who's going to take multiple innings? I mean, you could do that to Tyler Rogers. But that's also supposed to, he's the best when he's just in the 8th inning, getting people's timing off to go see Camilo Duvall. That's what's going to be the strength of this team. So I hate to be that guy to say health, because that's, with everyone, but I'm worried about where these innings are coming from. So that's where we are for biggest concern. But who knows? I mean, these are all talented guys, who sees if Eric Miller and Ethan Small are, the prospects they were supposed to be, this could be best bullpen in baseball.
So it's not so much the health as much as it is like they might get taxed and worn down.
Well, it's also a health thing. For me, honestly, it's more of a health thing of the starting rotation, because I also don't think that this is a bullpen to do bullpen games with. If you had Jelly in there, he can eat up 3 or 4 innings. but you don't know what's going on with him. You would usually be able to do that with someone like a Mason Black, but he's probably going to be in the rotation right now because Tristan Beck is down. You have guys that are highly touted prospects that haven't gone to AAA yet that they're kind of already starting to count on. They have Kaiwei Tang, who isn't on the 40-man. That could be a swing guy, but he's already might not be ready for opening day. So it's their depth is even falling apart before their actual starting pitching is falling apart, but their actual starting pitching is not going to come to the end of the year. So I feel like the starting pitching is the Achilles heel for this bullpen, which is very weird, but that's where we are for my concern.
And you think they're done?
I fucking hope not. They keep reiterating how they really want to graduate their young guys, and I get it. But if you're investing this much money and getting this close to the luxury tax, the closest you've been since 2017, I think it is, then you got to get someone that throws over 100 innings besides Logan Webb. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kyle Harrison is the guy. You wanted him to have a spot. But at the same time, when you have three dudes that are supposed to be on the back of this road, and not only that, but Kyle Harrison has never thrown 100 innings. So you got three other dudes who is a converted reliever, and then a couple guys who haven't thrown a pitch in Major League Baseball, except Keaton Wynn, but I'm not sure if he's going to be ready for opening day. But they need one more dude, is what I'm trying to say. I hope they need to add a starting pitcher. I'm really hoping. I know this is getting in a little to infield, but I'm hoping they trade JD Davis and Joey Bart. Because Joey Bart's a dead man walking at this point. And obviously it'd probably have to be a prospect attached to get anything decent in return. But I hope they're part of a package that opens up some 40-man spots too, that could, give a 40-man spot to Amir Garrett. But yeah, so I hope they're not done. Long story short, I hope this adds to the starting pitching. I think they can make it work with these relievers if they get one more starting pitcher.
I never understood why they didn't resign either of Wood or Stripling. Like, those are perfect guys to move into the bullpen if you want to bring somebody up.
Well, so Wood has been bad for us the past couple of years. So I understand not bringing Wood back, but the trade for Stripling looks worse and worse every single day when that's what you need. I understand, like Blake Snell, way better. Jordan Montgomery, way better. I get it. But if you're not going to sign those guys or make a big trade, then you need the guys to eat some innings. And Ross Stripling was that dude. So to trade him, and even, I hate to say this, but Anthony DeSclafani, he was healthy. He's supposed to start the season on time. Yeah, that's what you need right now. You need some guy who can throw some major league innings for you.
Yep. All right. Well, our biggest concern was health for both teams, right? And you said you gave this
pretty much, but mine was the health of the starting pitching.
Yeah. So you said you gave this. Well, you haven't given them your rating. What's your grade?
Well, the most excited has to be the back three. I mean, I already went into it a little bit. I forgot to talk about the most exciting, but yeah, the back three. So that was the most exciting. I really went into that. But yeah, grade. I think this is going to be the team's strong suit. If they can, get a lead into the 5th or the 6th. I think this bullpen can match up with anybody. So I'm giving this one an A.
Yeah. I mean, being your strongest part of the team definitely has to be an A. But I hope it's an F. I hope it ends up being an F at the end of the year. But sure.
Hope it's just Logan Webb out there throwing 3 times a week and shit.
Yeah.
But so that's where we are. The next couple of weeks we're going to go over the rest of this roster. To get you guys ready for opening day and to think about who's going to be on this roster. But to close out, can we just talk about how Yamamoto, you guys just got fucked? Yamamoto is going to be on your team for 13 years, and he's going to throw 3 innings and get rocked for 6 earned runs, it was, I think, or was that 6 walks? I don't know. I'm going to say 6 earned runs because fuck that guy.
As you know, I have a direct line to Yamamoto's translator. And what he told me was he's just trying to get the bad outings out of the way. He wants to give his left side of the infield as many tries as they can to mess up now.
Okay.
So they don't have to do it in Seoul, Korea when the games actually matter.
That makes sense. Can you also, while you have him on the line, can you also ask him how he feels about his father, Jung-Hoo Lee? Is he close with his father?
What does he have? 2 hits off of him?
He's batting 500 against him. So
He's Jekyll and Hyde. So he either gets a single, not a home run, a single, or a double, whatever.
That's Jung Hoo's game. That's Jung
Or he
Hoo's game.
strikes out.
All right.
You clearly forgot to relay the fact that he has 2 strikeouts against him too.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you get out. You get out. It doesn't matter. You hit 500, you own the guy. So who gives a fuck? Don't worry about the freaking slugging percentage. Don't worry about what happens when he gets out. Just know that he hits 500 off of him. He owns them, and that's it.
And this is what spring training is for, man. Like, you got to try all your stuff out and see how especially coming into a new league. Muncy didn't have the greatest day over a third. Lux is just coming back, and his throws do not look good right now. But sure, they're just excuses. His command was way off today. He was not good. His defense didn't help him. But this is what it's for. If he had gone 3 innings and not given up a hit, then he's getting the Cy Young tomorw. But since it didn't do so well, this is what it's for, and we'll
that's spring training. Like I'm surprised. Like I remember I first saw it and I messaged you right away, just because I'm talking shit. But like I was shocked at how much more I saw it on the timeline. Like it was kind of like, I don't know if people are really like, if everyone's just trying to troll or everyone's just reading it, like what actually people think. Sometimes I'm a little slow, so I don't know exactly how people are wording things, but I don't know. It's just that's spring training, though. I mean, when Logan Webb got lit up the last outing, I don't give a shit. But
because that's just normal, dude. That's just like
spring training. He gets lit up. That's fine. He's just lobbing it up.
Status quo. Like he's gonna get pushed around. Who cares?
Yeah, he gets beat up. That's why he got second in Cy Young last year. But yeah, he always gets beat up. That's true. I forgot. But yes. So
I'm not too worried, man. I'm really not too worried. He's gonna have some. He might have some ups and downs, but I'm not too worried. It's spring training. It's not a big deal. Everybody hates the Dodgers now. Everybody,
right?
Even if you don't have a Twitter, you've made one just to hate on the Dodgers. So I'm not worried about what the trolls are saying about that we're stuck with him for 13 years.
Right.
Yeah, we are, and you're gonna be stuck facing him for 13 years. 13 years, whatever it is.
Listen, I've hated the Dodgers since before it was cool. Okay, so remember that. Jot that down in your little playbook. But speaking about things that's going on Twitter, I got to address something. I feel like I got to address it. I don't think it's my job, but it is my job, and I'm going to do it. Leave Brandon Crawford alone. A lot of people are upset that he's talking about his time, but if he didn't talk about it, people would be upset that he's being vanilla. I don't think he's saying anything bad. He's going on, he's given a little bit of time to podcast. So everyone, I don't even get mad at the people asking the questions. They got to ask, that's the interview that Bumgarner never did that everybody wanted. Just saying like, hey, they didn't want me back. And when you're in the spot, you got to you can't get mad at Farhan either. You know why he didn't want him back. It makes a lot of sense why he didn't want him back. And I saw people on KNB arguing, going off, who would you rather want instead of Brandon Crawford? I would rather have Tyler Fitzgerald at short. I would rather have Marco Luciano struggle at short. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that you would rather have that last roster spot, besides Brandon Crawford right now, because you know what? If he has a roster spot and needs to be DFA'd, the Giants aren't going to do that. The Cardinals can do that. So I'm not upset for Brandon Crawford for just answering the question like, hey, they didn't want me. It's no big deal. I have nothing bad to say about them, but I also can't come back to an organization that doesn't want me. There's no harm in him saying that. So stop crying about it. That's it.
He said the truth. Like, they asked him a question and I'm not there. Why are you not there? Well, because a certain somebody didn't want me back, and it makes sense. And That's it. And so I got another job somewhere else.
Sometimes there's just no-win situations. If he would have gotten brought back, it would have been like, oh my gosh, Farhan, you're holding on to the past too much. He's going to hit 220. Even if he's on the bench, he's still going to come up and, swing out a slider in the dirt. So I would be more upset, honestly, if they signed him. And that take nothing away from the much. I love Brandon Crawford. I love the dude, but at the same time, when you're done and you need someone to go into that shortstop spot, I'm sorry, you got to go.
That's the thing about social media, man. That's the thing about the same
everyone's upset about everything.
That are upset about him not coming back would be upset if he did come back and take somebody else's spot. So you never, social media is always like that. And I hate to say it, but the Giants made the right move. Like, you give the young guys a shot.
Yeah, when it's so, I mean, and honestly, honestly, it would have been better for the organization if after 2021 they didn't offer him a contract and they went after Corey Seager or Marcus Semien, because it was rumored that Marcus Semien wanted to come to San Francisco. So that was a big swing and miss. You could obviously put him at second. That's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother story. But you don't do that because he had coming off a great year, best shortstop in Giants history. You give him a couple years. He did it. It really didn't work out. So at that point, you just got to move on. And you can't be upset when people ask Brandon Crawford the question. He just, listen, I can't come back when they don't want me. It's no big deal. Love the organization, but they didn't want me. No big, he's not saying anything bad. So don't be upset at him. Just let it move on.
I've got a question, though, because as Dodger fans, we've seen this legacy carry on from one person to another. First, you had Angel Pagan with the greasiest and nastiest of hair, right? He leaves. And he had more
years than him, though. Let's just be really clear. Angel Pagan had some more years than him. I was really shocked he didn't get a deal and killed it for Puerto Rico in that WBC that year he was a free agent. But continue.
And so then we move on, and the baton is passed on to Crawford with his greasy hair and making plays and stuff. Great. Whatever.
Crawford's had the greasy hair before Pagan, but okay, that's fine.
And now who takes over? Now that Crawford's gone, who's going to get that in between it?
That's a good point. For greasy hair?
I don't think anybody has long hair on the team anymore, do they?
I feel like that's a leadership role, and I feel like maybe we just need to bombard Logan Webb. Like, dude, you got to grow your hair out, bro. Got to grow your hair out, let it flow out, and just grease it up. Get some soul glow.
I would love to see that.
That would be amazing. But I can't think of anybody. No one else has long hair.
I don't think anybody has long hair on your team anymore. It's finally over. We don't have to see any greasy hair on the field anymore.
It's done. Like I'm looking at all my notes here to see if I'm missing anybody.
And we don't have to see the fluorescent orange shoes coming out of the dugout anymore.
Oh, that's delicious. But I mean, I don't know. Austin Slater has a crazy beard now. It literally looked fake. I thought that it looked fake to me. I haven't
seen it. You're gonna have to send me that because I haven't seen that. That's one of those guys that I just hate because he's not a star, but every time he goes against a lefty from the Dodgers, he just gets the big hit.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of other teams have more respect for Austin Slater than Giants fans do, because he rarely plays. Because and that's something that I probably should have talked about in this outfield. Austin Slater's not going to get a whole lot of at bats because on the NL West there's like 3.5 lefty starters. I don't think the Dodgers have any.
We have one. Yeah,
Dodgers don't have any. Nope. The Diamondbacks have, I think, one. I think the Rockies have one. Yeah, it was some stat that I saw. I forgot exactly how many it was, but I'm pretty sure the NL West had 3 or 4 starters total that are lefties. So
I think they're all in Colorado, right? Because I'm thinking about it. I don't think the Padres have one. I don't think we don't have one because Kershaw.
I think the Diamondbacks have one. They have Edwin Rodriguez.
Okay,
that might be it though.
Him and then the Colorado Rockies. They got Gomber.
Yeah, Gomber. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't even. And that's the thing.
Is Freeland still with the team? Yeah, he's still a Rocky.
Yes.
Yeah,
Freeland,
so they got
3.
him.
So there's crazy. 3 there. So there might be 4, maybe 5, which is
they might get into
less
a
than
game
one
once
team.
in a while.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's a whole nother story. But people don't respect him because they didn't get a lot of at bats. But Austin Slater was actually one of the first dudes that I followed from like single A that like made it to the big league. So I got a big soft spot for Austin Slater. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what could happen this year? Just know that we're always going to be here for you every single week here on
just talking crap on each other's team, recapping it.
Exactly. And next week we're going to get into infields and DHs. So come hang out with us at that point. Subscribe to us.
It might be a boring episode from the Dodgers perspective because
they don't have anybody.
You have that freaking guy that just hits home runs all the time and Soler, monster home runs. And I don't know who he got. So, I might have to do my homework and see if I can find someone to talk about at the DH position, the Dodgers side.
Yeah, sucks to be you. Sucks to suck. Yes, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform as well as YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week.
Next week, same time, same place.
Same Cartoon Network. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.